I know exactly what you thought when you saw that title. You thought, is this real? Is this some kind of clickbait? Or is there actually something to this? Here's what I'll tell you. The idea of specific pressure points on the body influencing blood flow, nerve activation, and hormonal response is not new. It is the foundation of thousands of years of traditional medicine, and it is something that modern research on the pelvic nervous system and vascular anatomy is beginning to take seriously. But today, I'm not just going to tell you about 2 points. I'm going to give you the complete picture of what nocturnal penile tumescence actually is, why men over 60 lose it, what that loss tells you about your cardiovascular and hormonal health, and exactly what you can do, starting tonight, to restore it. Because morning firmness is not a vanity metric. It is one of the most reliable biological indicators of male vascular health, hormonal function, and nervous system integrity. And when it disappears, your body is sending you a message that most men never learn to read. Stay with me all the way to the end, because the practical protocol I'm going to give you tonight is the one that has made the biggest difference for the men in my practice. And I'll tell you right now, it's simpler than you are expecting. I'm Dr. Amanda, a urologist with 12 years of experience helping men over 60 reclaim their vitality, strength, and confidence. I've worked with thousands of men who thought their best days were behind them. Men who came to my office quietly ashamed of changes they didn't understand and had never discussed with anyone. My job is to give you the truth your body deserves. No judgment, no shame, just real science delivered honestly. Before we get into it, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it helps this video reach the men who need it most. And drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I read every single one and I want to know where my gentlemen are tuning in from around the world. Let me tell you what morning firmness actually is. Because most men have a feeling about it, but not a real understanding. And understanding it changes everything. Nocturnal penile tumescence, the medical term for what most men call morning erections, occurs 3 to 5 times per night in healthy men, primarily during REM sleep cycles. These are not random events. They are your body's built-in maintenance program. During these spontaneous erections, oxygenated blood is pumped through the corpora cavernosa, the 2 cylindrical chambers of erectile tissue inside the penis, delivering oxygen, removing metabolic waste, and maintaining the elasticity and health of the smooth muscle tissue. Think of it like a nightly cleaning cycle running while you sleep. Now here is the part that most men don't know. The presence of strong, consistent morning erections is not just about sexual health. It is a reliable proxy for 3 of the most important health systems in your body. First, cardiovascular health. Erections are fundamentally a vascular event. Blood flow in, blood retained, blood released. If your arteries are flexible, your endothelium is healthy, and your nitric oxide production is adequate, you will have morning erections. If any of those systems are compromised, morning erections are the first thing to go, often years before any other cardiovascular symptom appears. Second, testosterone and hormonal function. Your body produces the majority of its daily testosterone during sleep, and testosterone is required to sensitize the nervous system pathways that trigger nocturnal erections. Low testosterone means fewer, weaker, shorter nocturnal erections. Third, nervous system integrity. The erectile reflex involves a complex network of autonomic nerve fibers running through the pelvic region. When those nerves are compressed, inflamed, or understimulated, the reflex weakens. Morning firmness fades, and the man wakes up feeling like something is different, even if he can't name what it is. Here are the 3 problems I see in men over 60 who have lost their morning firmness, and I want to be honest with you about how serious each one is. Problem 1, vascular insufficiency. After 60, the arteries that supply blood to the pelvic region, specifically the internal pudendal arteries and their branches, are narrower, stiffer, and less responsive than they were at 40. The endothelial cells lining those arteries produce less nitric oxide. And without adequate nitric oxide, those vessels cannot dilate enough to flood the erectile chambers with the volume of blood needed for a firm, sustained erection. Think of it like a river that used to run strong and wide, being reduced to a trickle because the channel has narrowed. The river is still there, the water still flows, but the pressure and volume are not what they were. And the consequences of that reduced flow show up every morning when you wake up, or don't wake up, with firmness. Problem 2, testosterone depletion. After 30, testosterone declines at approximately 1% per year. By 60, many men have lost 30% or more of their peak testosterone. And testosterone is not just about sex drive. It is the hormonal signal that primes the nervous system for nocturnal erections. Low testosterone means the neural pathways that should be firing 3 to 5 times a night during sleep are firing less often, less strongly, and for shorter durations. The result is that the maintenance cycle that was protecting your erectile tissue is no longer running on its full schedule, and the tissue pays the price. Problem 3, pelvic nerve compression and underactivation. This is the one most men, and frankly many doctors, overlook entirely. The pudendal nerve and the cavernous nerve plexus run through the perineum and pelvic floor, and these nerves are responsible for triggering and sustaining erections. In men over 60, years of sedentary habits, tight hip flexors, a chronically tight or weakened pelvic floor, and compression from prolonged sitting all contribute to reduced neural signaling in this region. The nerve is not damaged, it is simply underactivated, unstimulated. And nerves that are not regularly stimulated become progressively less responsive over time. This is exactly why targeted pressure and stimulation in the right locations can make a genuine, measurable difference. Not because of mysticism, because of anatomy. Let's talk about the first point, the perineum, specifically the central tendon of the perineum, also called the perineal body. The perineum is the area between the base of the scrotum and the anus. The perineal body is a dense convergence of muscle and connective tissue at the center of this region, and it is directly connected to the bulbocavernosus muscle, one of the primary muscles involved in maintaining penile rigidity during erection. This area also sits directly over the pudendal nerve and the deep artery of the penis. Applying firm, sustained pressure to this point has two effects. First, it creates a mild vasodilatory response in the nearby vessels, similar to how massage therapy increases localized blood flow. Second, it directly stimulates the pudendal nerve, which sends activating signals through the autonomic nervous system toward the erectile nerve plexus. Think of it like pressing a button that says, "Wake up," to the neural network responsible for erections. What this means for you emotionally is this. One of the most demoralizing things a man over 60 experiences is waking up morning after morning with nothing. No sign from his body that it's awake. No signal of vitality. Just flatness. And the story that forms around that flatness, "I'm old, I'm done, that part of me is gone," is not a medical conclusion. It is a psychological response to a physiological pattern that can be interrupted. When men in my practice begin to experience morning firmness returning, even partially, even inconsistently at first, the shift in how they carry themselves is profound. Confidence is not just a feeling, it is a biological state, and your body can return to it. Here is exactly how to apply pressure to this first point. Lie on your back, knees bent, feet flat. Use the pad of your thumb or 2 fingers pressed together. Locate the midpoint of the perineum, halfway between the base of the scrotum and the anus. Apply firm but comfortable downward pressure. You should feel a distinct point of deeper sensation, not pain. Hold that pressure for 60 seconds while breathing slowly and deeply. The deep breathing is not ceremonial. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the branch of the autonomic nervous system responsible for vasodilation and the erectile response. Do this nightly as part of your pre-sleep routine. Consistency over days and weeks is what produces results, not the intensity of a single session. William, 64, a retired school teacher from Georgia, came to see me after his wife told him she was worried about him. Not because of performance specifically, but because of how quiet and withdrawn he had become. He told me, "I don't feel like a man anymore, Dr. Amanda. I don't know how else to say it. I wake up and there's nothing there, and it feels like a part of me has just left." After implementing a complete protocol that included the perineal stimulation technique, pelvic floor rehabilitation, vascular nutrition, and testosterone support, 8 weeks later, he sent me a patient portal message. He said, "I woke up this morning and I cried, not from sadness, because I remembered who I was. That is not a small thing. That is a man reclaiming his identity." Now let's talk about the second point, the base of the penis, specifically the root attachment at the pubic symphysis. The base of the penis, where it attaches to the body at the pubic bone, is the location of the crura, the roots of the corpora cavernosa that anchor the erectile chambers to the pubic arch. This area is also the site of the ischiocavernosus muscles, which are the muscles responsible for compressing the blood-filled erectile chambers during erection and maintaining rigidity. When these muscles are weak, undertrained, or poorly vascularized, erections are softer and less sustained, even when blood flow to the chambers is adequate. Targeted stimulation at this junction, circular massage around the base where the penis meets the pubic bone, increases localized circulation to the crura, activates the ischiocavernosus and bulbocavernosus muscles through mechanoreceptor stimulation, and has a measurable effect on penile tissue oxygenation in the hours following the stimulation. This is not speculation. This is applied pelvic anatomy. Here's the emotional layer I want you to sit with. The men who tell me they have given up, who have decided that waking up without morning firmness is just their life now, have almost universally never been given the information I'm giving you today. They made a permanent decision based on incomplete information. They stopped trying because no one told them there was something specific, anatomically grounded, and completely accessible that they could try. You are not those men. You have this information, and information changes what is possible. Here is exactly how to apply stimulation to the second point. Using the thumb and index finger of both hands, locate the base of the penis where it meets the pubic bone. Apply gentle circular massage around the full base, 360 degrees, using moderate pressure. You should feel the deeper tissue and the connection to the pubic arch. Continue for 60 seconds in one direction, then 60 seconds in the other. This bidirectional stimulation ensures full activation of the surrounding musculature. Follow this immediately with 10 slow Kegel contractions. Squeeze the pelvic floor muscle as if stopping urination midstream. Hold for 5 seconds, release fully, repeat. This combination of external mechanical stimulation followed by active muscle contraction creates the most complete activation of the pelvic neurovascular complex available without clinical intervention. Quick pause before the action plan, and this is important. What I've described today is a starting point, not a complete solution in isolation. The reason these techniques work is that they are acting on systems, vascular, neural, muscular, that also respond to nutrition, sleep, exercise, and hormonal support. If you are only doing the manual protocol and ignoring the foundational systems, you will see some improvement. If you combine the manual protocol with the nutritional and lifestyle interventions I'm about to describe, you will see dramatically more. The body is not a collection of isolated parts. It is a system, and systems respond best when you address them at every level simultaneously. James, 69, a former Marine from Virginia, came to me because, as he put it, I don't ask for help easily, and I don't like not understanding something. He was experiencing complete absence of morning firmness and had been told by a previous doctor that it was simply age-related and that medication was his only option. He told me, "I don't want a pill that patches something. I want to understand what's broken and fix it." After a comprehensive evaluation, we found suboptimal testosterone, depleted nitric oxide production, and a severely weakened pelvic floor from years of sedentary desk work after retirement. 12 weeks of targeted protocol, pelvic activation, vascular nutrition, resistance training, and hormonal support. And he came back in looking like a different man. He said, "I didn't know a body could remember. Mine remembered." Here is your simple action plan. Step 1. Every night before sleep, perform the perineal pressure technique. 60 seconds of firm, sustained pressure on the perineal body with slow, deep breathing throughout. This is your neural activation step. Step 2. Immediately follow with the base stimulation protocol. 60-second circular massage at the penile root in each direction, then 10 slow Kegel contractions held for 5 seconds each. This is your vascular and muscular activation step. Step 3. Support your nitric oxide production daily. 8 ounces of unsweetened pomegranate juice or 500 to 1,000 milligrams of pomegranate extract, 3 to 5 grams of L-arginine in the morning, and dark leafy greens at 1 meal daily. Step 4. Protect your deep sleep. This is non-negotiable. 7 to 8 hours minimum, bedroom below 67 degrees, no alcohol within 3 hours of sleep, no screens in the 30 minutes before bed. Your body produces 70% of its daily testosterone during deep sleep. Every night of poor sleep is a night your restoration protocol is working against resistance. Do this consistently for 30 days before you evaluate your results. Consistency is the protocol. Before I let you go, I want to speak to you directly and honestly. If you have been waking up morning after morning and feeling like something fundamental is missing, if you have been quietly grieving a part of yourself that you thought was gone, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not too old, and you are not someone whose vitality has an expiration date. What you are is a man whose body has been running without the specific stimulation, nutrition, and support it needs to keep its most important maintenance systems running at full capacity. And that is not a sentence. That is a starting point. Every single system I described today, vascular, hormonal, neural, muscular, is responsive, is alive, is waiting for the signal that you are still here and you still want to live fully. When you give it that signal consistently, it answers. I have watched it happen in men in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, not occasionally, routinely, because biology does not retire just because you did. After 60, vitality is not something that was taken from you. It is something that is waiting, patiently, persistently, to be reclaimed. If this video gave you something today, if it shifted something in how you understand your own body, please hit that like button right now. And drop a comment below telling me, are you starting tonight? Or what's been holding you back? I read every comment and I want to know where you are. If you have a friend, a brother, or a husband who needs to hear this, share this video with them. You might be giving them permission to try again. And subscribe if you haven't already. I post every single week with practical, honest, anatomy-based content for men who refuse to accept decline as their story. I'm Dr. Amanda, reminding you that after 50, vitality isn't lost, it's waiting to be awakened. Take care of yourself, gentlemen, and I'll see you in the next one.